The rain pounded against my car windows as I watched my husband David pack my belongings into cardboard boxes. From the driveway, I could see his mother, Patricia, standing smugly in our doorway, finally victorious after 2 years of trying to destroy our marriage. "I can't believe you lied to me," David had said just hours earlier, his voice filled with hurt and betrayal. "Mom showed me everything. Your car registration to a parking lot, your suspicious bank transfers, even photos of you sleeping in your car. You're not really a software engineer, are you? You're homeless, using me for money." If only he knew the truth. The suspicious transfers were to my father's medical research foundation. The car registration was for my corporate parking space at Zhang Industries' secure facility. And those photos of me sleeping in my car, taken during my overnight surveillance shifts, monitoring potential corporate espionage. But I couldn't tell him any of that. Not yet. Not while my father was still tracking down the people who had tried to destroy our company and kill him 5 years ago. "David, please," I called out from my car. "Just let me explain." "Explain what, Sarah?" Patricia's voice dripped with fake concern. "How you fooled my son with your sad stories about your dead father? How you claim to work for some mysterious tech company but can't ever show him your office?" She walked over to my car, designer heels clicking on the wet pavement. "I had you investigated, you know. There's no record of a Sarah Zhang working as a software engineer anywhere in the city. Just a homeless woman with a history of dating wealthy men." I gripped my steering wheel tighter, fighting back tears. The investigation must have been what triggered our security protocols, erasing my digital footprint. Dad had warned me this might happen, that someone might start digging into my past. "I know what you really are," Patricia continued, leaning close to my window. "A gold-digging scammer who thought she could trap my son. Well, guess what? I win. David's filing for divorce, and you'll never see a penny of our family's money." What Patricia didn't know was that her family money was nothing compared to what I really was, the heir to Zhang Industries, one of the largest technology conglomerates in Asia. My dead father was very much alive, working undercover to expose a corporate espionage ring that had nearly destroyed us 5 years ago. As I watched David carry the last box inside, my secure phone buzzed with a message that would change everything. "Operation complete. Coming home. Time to show them who you really are. Dad." Attached was a news alert that made my heart stop. Buri A. King. Tech billionaire Michael Zhang returns after 5 years. Zhang Industries stock soars. Patricia was still gloating at my window when she noticed the headline on my phone. Her face went from smug to shocked in an instant. "Zhang Industries. But that's impossible. You're just a homeless." The sound of helicopter blades cut her off. A sleek black chopper with the Zhang Industries logo was descending onto their perfectly manicured lawn. The helicopter's landing kicked up a storm of debris across Patricia's prized rose garden. David rushed outside, shielding his eyes from the swirling wind as the aircraft's door opened. My father stepped out, looking exactly as he had 5 years ago. Elegant in his tailored suit, silver hair immaculate, that familiar kind smile on his face. Behind him, a team of serious-looking men in dark suits spread out across the property. "Sarah," he called out, ignoring Patricia and David completely. "Are you all right, sweetheart?" I stepped out of my car, rain soaking through my clothes. "Dad?" Patricia's face cycled through shock, confusion, and fear. "Dad? But you're dead." The investigation showed. "Showed what, Mrs. Harrison?" Dad's voice turned cold. "That Sarah's father died in a car accident 5 years ago. That she has no employment records. No permanent address." He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Your investigation was very thorough. Unfortunately, you were investigating a cover story." David stepped forward, looking lost. "Cover story? What's going on?" "Perhaps," Dad suggested, "we should continue this conversation inside. Unless Mrs. Harrison would prefer to discuss her connection to Harrison Technologies out here in the rain." Patricia's face went white. "Harrison Technologies, our biggest competitor and the company behind the attempted takeover that have forced Dad into hiding." I don't know what you're talking about," she stammered. Dad pulled out a tablet, displaying documents that made Patricia sway on her feet. "Really? Then perhaps you can explain why you've been meeting with your brother, James Harrison, every Tuesday at the Crown Hotel. The same James Harrison who orchestrated the attempt on my life 5 years ago." David's head snapped toward his mother. Mom? What is he talking about? It's all lies. Patricia shrieked. She's the liar. Living in her car, pretending to be poor. Actually, I finally spoke up, my voice steady. I never pretended to be poor. You just assumed. Those photos of me sleeping in my car? I was monitoring your meetings with Harrison Technologies executives. The parking lot registration. It's for the secure underground facility where we've been tracking your brother's corporate espionage operation. Security footage began playing on Dad's tablet, showing Patricia passing confidential documents to her brother, planning the takedown of Zhang Industries from within, using her son's marriage to get close to the heir of their biggest rival. You see, David, Dad explained gently, your mother isn't just a concerned parent. She's been part of a corporate espionage ring for years, and when you married my daughter. But before he could finish, Patricia made a desperate dash for her car. She didn't get far. The serious-looking men in suits moved with practiced efficiency, blocking her escape. Mrs. Harrison, a familiar voice called out, or should I say, Agent Harrison, I believe we have some questions about your CIA credentials. Federal agents emerged from unmarked cars surrounding the house. But as they moved to arrest Patricia, I noticed something strange in her eyes. Not fear, but triumph. You really think this is over? She laughed. You have no idea what's really going on. Why do you think I pushed so hard to end this marriage today specifically? Dad's phone suddenly buzzed with multiple alerts. His face darkened as he read them. Sarah, he said urgently, check the house. Now. Because today wasn't just any day. It was the day Zhang Industries was supposed to announce its revolutionary quantum computing breakthrough. And Patricia's desperate scheme to separate me from David suddenly made terrible sense. I raced into the house with Dad's security team, heading straight for my home office. The door was ajar. It had been locked when I left. Inside, my secure laptop was missing, and my backup drives were gone. Looking for these? David's voice came from behind me. He stood in the doorway, holding my laptop and drives, his face unreadable. David, please, I said carefully, you don't understand what you're holding. Actually, he replied, I understand perfectly. He pressed a sequence of keys on my laptop, and my heart stopped as I recognized the initialization sequence for our quantum encryption prototype. How did you know the sequence? He smiled sadly. Because I helped design it. Project Phoenix, ring any bells, Sarah? Or should I call you Agent John? Dad appeared behind him, and for the first time in my life, I saw real fear in his eyes. Your counterintelligence, Dad said quietly. CIA deep cover assigned to watch both sides, my daughter and your mother. David nodded. 5 years tracking Harrison Technologies' espionage. 3 years documenting Zhang Industries' quantum computing program. 2 years, his voice caught, 2 years falling in love with my target. The room felt like all the air had been sucked out. Was any of it real? I whispered. All of it, David replied. Every moment. That's what makes this so hard. He turned to my father. Mr. Jean, your quantum computing breakthrough isn't just revolutionary, it's dangerous. In the wrong hands, it could crack every military encryption on the planet. We developed it for medical research, Dad protested, for predicting protein folding, finding cures. And what happens when someone like Harrison Technologies steals it? David countered. Your sister-in-law, Patricia, isn't just a corporate spy. She's a front for an international technology cartel. They've been playing both sides, Zhang Industries and Harrison Technologies, waiting for this moment. Suddenly, more alarms started blaring. On my office screens, security alerts flashed from Zhang Industries facilities worldwide. Right now, David continued, simultaneous raids are happening at every Zhang facility globally. The quantum computing data is being seized by international authorities. Your technology is being classified as a national security risk. And my mother? I asked, pieces finally clicking into place. Deep cover CIA, like me. Her arrest outside is theater, giving her cover to escape with the real target. Which is? David's face softened. You, Sarah. They don't just want the technology. They want the person who can rebuild it from memory. That's when the house's lights went out and gas started seeping through the ventilation system. I'm sorry, David said, pulling on a gas mask. But you're both coming with us. As my vision started to blur, I saw more figures in tactical gear entering the room. But through my fading consciousness, I noticed something odd. Dad was smiling. "David," he said calmly, "did you really think we didn't know? About you? About Patricia? About everything?" The last thing I saw before passing out was Dad pressing his watch and the floor beneath us starting to move. When I regained consciousness, I wasn't in a CIA black site as expected. Instead, I was in a familiar place, the real Zhang Industries Command Center, 50 stories beneath our Hong Kong headquarters. "Welcome back, sweetheart," Dad's voice came from nearby. I opened my eyes to see him sitting calmly at a control panel. Next to him, bound to a chair but very much awake, was David. "How?" David struggled against his restraints. "The gas, the tactical team. We're all mine," a new voice said. My mother walked in, very much alive despite having supposedly died when I was a child. "Did you really think the CIA was the only one who could run a deep cover operation, Agent Sullivan?" Mom looked exactly as I remembered, just older and somehow more formidable. She was wearing a Zhang Industries executive suit, not the tactical gear from earlier. "You see," Dad explained, "we've known about the CIA's interest in our quantum computing project from the beginning, just as we've known about Harrison Technologies' infiltration attempts. So we created a triple-blind operation." The screens around us lit up, showing years of surveillance footage. David's recruitment, Patricia's meetings, everything. "Sarah's homelessness was indeed a cover," Mom continued, "but not for what you thought. While you were investigating her, she was allowing you to investigate her, all while running the real quantum computing project from a different facility. The prototype you seized," I finally spoke up, my voice hoarse, "was a decoy. The real breakthrough happened 6 months ago. We just needed to flush out all the players." David's face showed the first crack in his professional demeanor. 6 months, when we got married. "I did love you," I said softly. "That part was real, but I also knew who you were from the day we met. Because I chose you, David, not the other way around." "Agent Sullivan has an impressive record," Mom added. "Top of his class at Langley, perfect deep cover credentials. Exactly the kind of person we wanted watching over our daughter while we completed the real project." Dad pressed a button, and screens worldwide showed Zhang Industries stock soaring as we announced not just a quantum computing breakthrough, but a complete quantum encryption platform, one that would make unauthorized surveillance impossible. "So you see," Dad smiled, "everyone played their part perfectly. The CIA got their operation thinking they were shutting down dangerous technology. Harrison Technologies thought they were closing in on their target. And we," he looked at me proudly, "we changed the future of global communications." "What happens now?" David asked quietly. I stood up, walking over to him. "That depends on you. Because while everything else was calculated, falling in love with you wasn't part of the plan. And now you have a choice." Mom handed me a key to his restraints and a Zhang Industries security badge. "You can go back to the CIA, report what happened. Watch your career disappear as they realize how completely they were outplayed. Or," I held up the badge, "you can join us. For real this time, no more covers, no more lies." "Why would I trust you now?" he asked. I leaned in close, whispering, "Because I'm giving you the one thing nobody else has, the truth. And a choice." 1 year later, Zhang Industries' quantum platform has revolutionized secure communications. David runs our counterintelligence division using his CIA experience to protect what we built. Patricia and her brother are in federal custody. It turns out even the CIA doesn't like being double-crossed. As for me, I still drive the same car, but now everyone knows who I really am. Sometimes on late nights at the office, David and I look back at our wedding photos and laugh about how many spies were in attendance, his, mine, and at least 3 other agencies. Mom says true love can survive anything, even international espionage. Dad says trust is built on truth, even if that truth takes time to be revealed. Me, I believe the best operations are like the best relationships, built on understanding not just who someone appears to be, but who they really are beneath all the covers and codes. And sometimes, the greatest security isn't in what you hide, but in what you choose to reveal.